Yo, what's up guys? Today, oh yeah, welcome to another gameplay commentary with me, the Amphibian Hoplite, and today we will be looking at a 3v3 on a random map between the Western team and Eastern team as usual. And so, I think I forgot to record you, but I think, yes, okay, just to make sure. Okay, so let's introduce you to our players. For our Western team, this is Past Glory playing as the Yellow Romans, and in the middle of their group is Rettinger playing as the Blue Britons, and who is this? Let's just call him Crest the Tiger playing as the Purple Spartans. Now for our Western team, from top to bottom, Eastern team I mean, is another Spartan player named Protagoras, and our green Iberian player. You like the color green, don't you? Solo Oyo. I like that too. It's my favorite color. He's our Iberian player. Okay, I think I mentioned that. And then our teal Carthage, it's Zanabile, I think. I will just call you Carthage. Okay, so these are our players. Now, you can see here that with the typical beginning, food is very important, and since this is a random map, the resources might be quite spread out and very confusing if you're not used to scouting for your food, especially the berries. This one, just look at here, at least they're near on our western side. Where are your berries? Yeah, quite near, and next food sources will be here, so that's kind of available. There are some animals right here good for hunting on our western side, and yes, okay, so we know our teams in Alpha 21 now, and since Alpha 22 is coming out, I think it's going to, yes, by the way, indeed these are two parts, because if breaking down a 30-minute game into two parts works for Alex and the Anavoltus, I think it will work for me. Okay, and in that second part, and regardless of the outcome of this game, I think I will give my own impressions of how to play team games depending on your factions, because yes, I have watched this beforehand and I know who won, but I think analyzing the game is much better, because although the element of surprise is gone, just like this, there are some things that I still can't catch, just like this one. Last time I didn't catch this scouting ability of red and blue. I think blue was scouting his team because he's the Britons, he can do that. And also, yellow doesn't know that the cavalry has its own economic functions, just like killing chickens and killing animals, hunting, gathering food. But even though if it doesn't, it's still useless being there idle. I know you will be microwaving your stuff right here, but at least he should do some scouting, just like what Protagoras and Rettinger are doing. Just look at there. I mean, look at the visibility of Rettinger. We will see that, well, you can excuse him because he is the Britons. He has the attack dog as an extra scout, which I think that now it's in here. But Protagoras, see, he's making use of that cavalry. And also, you will be forced to do a decision making, because after the first chickens, you will be deciding whether you're going to use your horsemen to hunt more food or just do some plain scouting. And by the looks of things, it's kind of good for Red to scout the map, because he's playing the Spartans, you know. It's kind of ideal for him, and kind of preparing for an aggressive move because of the barracks, and he seems to be taking up to town fees quite fast. And we will see the Britannic player here who is doing this weird arrangement of his houses instead of a straight wall up. It kind of reminds me of Ghost Stones, if you know how to play Go or Odd Hello or something like that. These what the houses look like, and also a very aggressive position of the barracks. Very fought out. very, yeah, far from the women. And have you noticed that even the trees, fortunately for everyone, the trees are near to the stone and metal so that you can have your first wood. Speaking of the imbalances of the Iberians, yes, you are protected within your base in the early stages, but sooner or later you are going to be forced to build outside of that. So your strength point is only for the early game for now, but when it comes to city phase or town phase, you're gonna build a market. You can't actually build within these walls. It's just too inefficient, impractical. It creates too much traffic, and also the temple, which is kind of a forward base. So yeah, that's the weakness of the Iberian. It's an early game defensive faction, but when it comes to the town phase, it's kind of struggling up to the city phase, because it's some sort of a late game faction where your hit and run siege weapons can come into play. And but for the Spartans, for a rushing faction like Spartans, you are forced to play this actively. You can't play very passive, especially when you have the security commandos on town phase, right? And you are not you are encouraged to build more than one barracks just so you can train more troops at the same time. Not necessarily faster, but yes. The effect of it is you are going to build in Rome, who is going to be going head to head with our Spartan player, needs some sort of strategy which I am not sure how to do yet, but we know him as our early rush spear cav ready to harass some women. On the bottom side, well, we discussed Spartans, so we know that already, and everybody's rushing to or adjusting to the farms without does even Purple know it? Chris the Tiger know? Yes, he does know that there are accessible fruits there, so you're not excused for building farms first. Okay, reducing your efficiency, but I think everybody's just, yeah, everybody nearly doesn't care, as long as they will build their farms first hand in the bat and not even bother hunting animals or looking for more berries. And the first one to take up to town phase, I think, is Rome. Past Glory, or was it Solo Ooyo? I didn't see, so if you saw that in the minimap, good for you. Carthage. Carthage is, I believe, a phase 2 faction, because in the early stages it doesn't have so much units accessible to it. They have your very resilient, they are built for resilience, its units, not actually built for damage output. But when it comes to town phase, is it in town phase? Yes, you can build those embassies. For now you can build only two embassies, no, not two embassy types, just two embassies, and that's where your mercenary spam can come out. I think there's a build order ready to be unleashed with the Carthaginian faction, or let's just say I haven't seen a real Carthaginian player yet who can make use of that. Where is it? Of these three embassies, you can actually make use of that. You can hire your own javelineers, cavalry people, the melee, and I think they're missing the slingers. What's this? Someone invading. Sorry, man. So that was a Britannic. Oh, just look at this formation. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing to do by, who are you again? Reitinger. He's trying to create a maze or something so that when some raiders or raiding party tries to invade Blue's side of the map, which is, you do not actually want to try to invade in the middle of two players. You just go straight head on and you're not going to be invaded anyway. But in case somebody does, once they enter this, they need to search for a clear route, and it's kind of a creative way of making a maze, right? It's kind of a good way to do this. I wonder if you guys can incorporate it in your gameplay when you play the Britons who have their cheap houses. Yes, they're kind of weak, but at least punching a hole within these lines is not easy, even when you try to capture one house. It's what I mean is that your opponent has ample time to react just so you can take down one house. So it's better to run around and then find the hole and whatnot. Okay, so talking back on Carthage, because rarely have I been commentating on this faction on my channel. It's a mercenary faction, and historically it's a mercenary civilization. They don't build their own army per se, they hire them, right? They hire it's an economic power back in the day. It's been rivaling everybody else. So if ever there's a war, the only thing Carthage does is to hire its own. That's why the embassies, right? Even your default units, I think, are Mauritanian and Libyan. Yeah, these are African things. A Mauritanian, I don't know. The Numidian, I'm also not sure, but I have a feeling that these two are also henchmen, hired citizens instead of your normal citizens. But if I'm wrong, if these are just your native African people, then I think they count as Carthage's default citizens, right? Who have military capabilities, but their strength lies in the fact that you are hiring people, which is kind of very opposite to Rome's principle, because for Rome, your soldiers are your citizens for the most part. Well, what I mean is that even in politics, you cannot be a politician if you don't have good military experience, or you're not a known military leader, right? Sure, they balanced it out later that there is an aristocracy. What is that? What you call it? Some sort of lineage of father-son politics. But then one of the most well-known and popular requirements of being a politician is that you have to be a military man. You have served in the military, become a soldier, experienced, and yes. So for Rome, being a soldier is being a staple of being a Roman citizen. Quite opposite of Carthage, right? And we see here that Zanabal is trying to invade these resources, protected it with his own tower, making sure that Chris the Tiger will not be able to gather these resources around. So kind of good move with the land grabbing strategies, because everybody's feeling each other's territory now that everybody's in town phase. And look, he's continuing with his maze strategy, which is very interesting. First time I really seen someone employ this type of wall setup using your houses. And why not build some palisades? There's been a tradition not to use them anymore, and there's some people who say they're weak, there's some people saying they're too strong. Well, regardless of whether that's true, Carthage has the strongest walls. I don't know what's this. We have engagement. Women. Even the women are sent to fight. Okay, so Chris the Tiger backs off to another safer spot. His storehouse at least. This storehouse is it's being harassed by the tower, so it cannot be used as a trap site. Good work, Zanabal, for doing that. Maybe it's because of the vision of the outpost that gave the tower its advantage. Yeah, because towers don't have wide field of vision, and the outposts are a good solution for giving the tower extra vision and extra range that it needs. And so our bottom Spartan player is being harassed, while up here, 3-man strategy. Just look at this placement of this tower too, trying to preempt anything that attacks it. If ever somebody goes right in here. Red, who's red? Protagoras will be ready to respond. And here we are, he seems to be rushing towards the city phase 2. Is he? Yeah, he is. You know what? Yeah, let's just discuss while I'm going to take note of this action right here. It's very... Let's just say Zanabal is breathing down Krista Tiger's territory and just going for it, stabbing it. The practicality of the sentry tower, it's not very good defensively speaking. It's only good for vision and preventing one or two scouts from staying too long within your base. But when it comes to checking out the city phase, this one's practical. Build 4 sentry towers in village phase, and while you're taking out 2 town phase, or after taking out 2 town phase, you can upgrade the 4 towers immediately, just like this one, and you have an instant requirement for the city phase. You're only worried about the wood, the metal and stone, right? So that's how practical. Although I'm only comfy taking up to city phase when I only have, just look at this, 750 stone, right? I'm not comfy taking up to city phase unless I have at least 1800 stone, because I need the fortress. That's why you need to take up to city phase, right? Mainly because of the fortress. And here you have Zanabal trying to cement his position, gaining a foothold or establishing a foothold on this base, giving a very annoying harassment against Krista Tiger, who is currently on his way on making his, come on, Skiritai Commando rush. And while I am lagging, I think this is a time to pause the game. Right? Let's pause. We're already halfway. Sorry guys. So let's just evaluate first, right? This Spartan building up, Rome going up for some defensive capabilities. Yeah, and Britons, but the action is right here. Let's just leave the other factions alone. And there's a duel going on around here between Krista Tiger and Zanabal. Who would win? Who would gain the advantage? Or will this be the turning point of the game? We will find out in the next episode. Bye guys.